delivered to this location.
How are you going to do this? How? Because technology is nebulous. How precisely are you going to ensure that they deliver at the doorsteps of people where we don't have accurate numbering system in homes in Nigeria and streets? You can get to the street and have number 21 and number 44 at the back, at the front. So how do we do it? How?
Hello guys, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Tessie. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all, depending on where you are watching from. Hope you all are doing well, and thank you so much for stopping by. So Tinubu's Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, who says the federal government is committed to lifting 133 million Nigerians out of poverty. I think that particular video trended all over social media when she said that. So this woman was invited to Arise News. And to be honest with you all, I was enjoying everything this woman was saying until it was time for Rufai Oseni to interview her. And this woman opened her mouth when she was asked about how she's going to distribute the palliative. This woman opened her mouth to shock me by saying that she's going to use GPS to deliver palliative to Nigerians. That's not just what she said. She said a whole lot of things. I'm going to let you guys watch the video, but please, before we continue, I want to beg you all to help me by liking and also sharing this video so that YouTube and Facebook can recommend it to more people. So let's watch.
This is Rufai speaking here. I have not said congratulations to you officially. Better. Good to see you again. Congratulations to you, Honorable Minister. I wish you well.
Thank you.
And good to talk to you again. But better, a couple of things.
Thank you.
Number one you talked about the social register. Better, would you probe the social register? Because it's faulty. Although the World Bank has defended the government, but people like Governor Soludo and other people are saying that social register is faulty. Would you probe the social register? And would you also probe the National Safety Net Office? That's number one. Number two. Number two, let me just ask the second question. Would you also probe your predecessor? I know it's a tough one for you. So, would you also probe your predecessor? Because let me tell you this pure and simple. A lot of people, and she's not been indicted by any court, please don't quote me. A lot of people feel there's been mismanagement of funds. One, the COVID-19 disbursements. Another disbursement made by your predecessor thus far. As a lot of people say, we cannot effectively, or we've not been able to account for the money. Would you probe and review that? And better, in the midst of all of this, people are saying, you need a lot of money to run this your position because you need to alleviate poverty. You have to put money in the system. But with the gaping debt of 73 trillion, how realistic is it when you bring your demands to President Tinubu? Where is he going to get the wherewithal from to be able to fix this gaping hole? But those two very important questions. Would you probe your predecessor, one, on the spending? Would you ask to see the books, how things were spent? And secondly, would you probe the safety net? And do you feel that the safety net, there are issues with it? The register.
Okay. So, like I told you very clearly, the register must be verified and updated. And where there are people who do not deserve to be there based on the criteria, they'll be taken off the register. And those who truly are poor by the criteria and deserve to be on the social register, they would be included. Remember, no one is to be left behind. What's most important is that we must work with the state governments and the local governments to be able to get a true social register for our country. I've listened to some of the presentations. We just started the different departments, units, and agency presentation in the ministry, and some of the things which I could pick out was the fact that some of the register was done truly. However, the involvement of the state government and in some cases the local government was not as robust as it should be. And so these are concerns for them at the state level and at the local government level. We'll revisit it and we'll update it. It's a work in progress, and we'll ensure that we have the right register that we can implement properly and hold people accountable that truly these are poor people and now they've been lifted out of poverty. That's number one. Number two, when you talk about activities.
Okay, Betta, sorry to cut you in. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me, my dear. Please, I'm so sorry, ma, to cut you in, please. But hitherto, concerning that register, they have said, and that's why I asked the National Safety, the National Social Safety Office. They have said that the register was actually gotten from the local government areas, and the World Bank authenticated it. So is it that National Safety Office was wrong in its estimation in the first place? And that's why I asked that, would you probe? Is there something wrong with it in the first place? It's just for clarity, for the sake of Nigerians to know. That's just it. Because all you are saying now...
So we need to go back into it and look at it in details.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And verify that truly these people are those who we intend to reach. Right? It's a new administration. We do not underestimate the work done by World Bank and the Office of the National Safety Net. However, we need to be very critical on what we are doing, because Nigerians are watching and people will hold us accountable. And of course, for the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he truly wants these interventions to get to those who sincerely need it. Some governors have raised concerns, and we must look into these concerns. And this is just the right way to go about it.
Thank you so much on that. The spending of the...
moving on to...
The spending of your predecessor, would you also probe that and have a look at that?
So we would have a look at all of that, all the programs that were done, what were the achievements, what were the challenges, how was it spent, and we will do our best to see that those challenges are being overcome as we go into improving and expanding on the social safety nets of our country. Like I said, history is important. It's going to direct, it's going to help inform our decisions for the present and for the future. And it's important for us to look back into the books.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right. So let's look at the humanitarian aspect of things. You talked about working with some international organizations, funding, and Rufai had highlighted the fact that we do have a funding challenge, looking at the debt profile of the country. How would you hope to, generate funds, partner with organizations, address the needs of Nigerians currently?
So since you've dragged it this far, I'll just let one little bit out of the unveiling, which we'll be doing very soon, right? We are going to create a trust fund for emergency response and humanitarian response in the country, and of course create protocols for this response so that we can know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, and who are the people that should be beneficiaries from it. Now, we are not going to be depending on only government to be able to carry out poverty alleviation, humanitarian crisis response, and the rest of it. No, government has their part to play, and we are very, very confident that the president is committed to this, especially with funds that are being saved from the fuel subsidy removal. Now, beyond this, we are bringing private sector fully into the humanitarian and poverty alleviation space. We are bringing private sector fully into it. I'm sure you remember what happened during the COVID pandemic, where we had private sector coming fully in the name of COVID, and they were able to contribute as part of their social responsibilities to the interventions, programs, and what have you to fight the pandemic. We will deploy the same strategy to get private sector fully involved in humanitarian response, as well as the poverty alleviation programs and interventions which we want to carry out as government. Beyond this, we are working with partners. Yesterday, I had a meeting with the head of UNICEF, and they have promised to come into that space and support with over $270 million into that space, right? And several other partners are willing to come in. We're setting up a situation room. UNICEF will be working with us to set up a humanitarian situation room so that we can monitor, prevent, mitigate, and reintegrate people when they have humanitarian crisis back into society after handling them appropriately. So these are things we want to be monitoring as they go. We can try to avoid them and prevent them, and where it's impossible to do so, we can see how we immediately respond to it using a country-specific, context-specific protocol, and then of course at the end of the day reintegrate them back into society. So we're already working with partners. Several partners are engaging with me. Just yesterday, like I said, the head of UNICEF in the country and her team, they were in my office, and we had a robust engagement on their contributions to Nigeria. The World Bank is engaging, and of course you know about the safety net program of the World Bank and several other programs which are on the way already. We are going to expand on all of that. Beyond this, we are going to be engaging with other countries, other individuals who are running, of course, you know about the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and several other foundations, even in the East, that are all fully involved in this humanitarian response. We'll be bringing all of them to a table, and we'll be donating into a central purse, which is going to be the trust fund. And these Nigerians can hold us accountable to respond to humanitarian issues that may arise, and equally respond to poverty alleviation issues in the country.
Okay, Dr. Edu, let's look at the issues here. One of the issues, let's look at it. Economists, those who are looking at the state of our economy, said that Nigeria's debt profile shows that we're owing over $73 trillion, so about over $70 trillion. I have traveled extensively in the southwest of Nigeria and in the northern part of Nigeria as well, because I grew up in the north. In the southwest of Nigeria, I've spent time in villages in Lagos, in Ogun, in Oyo, and Osun State over a period of time, because my family members have interest in farming. I have seen people in the southwest of Nigeria who are eager to take a job in a farm for between 5 to 10,000 naira. I repeat, 5 to 10,000 naira a month. They are happy to take that job. They're not talking of minimum wages. And I don't know what 5 to 10,000 naira will buy you in Nigeria of today. But they're so poor that they will take 5,000 naira a month. Please tell me, how much is the president putting on your table to help people like this that will accept 5,000 naira in a month, 30 days of working? What are you going to do today to make sure that their children don't die of hunger, and that their children don't die of something as simple as malaria or cough?
Good. So what I can say very clearly at this point, when we say we're lifting people out of poverty, we want to ensure that no Nigerian is living under $1.95 a day, or with the new elevation, living under $2.15 per day. That is the target of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And like I told you very clearly, the president has asked us to quickly work with the key stakeholders, including development partners, to look at the social safety net, to look at the conditional cash transfers, to look at the various proposed interventions, and come up with figures that can help Nigerians to thrive, can help their petty businesses to thrive, can help the micro businesses to thrive, to look at them, working with the economic team. So these are what we're going to be reviewing within the next 2 to 3 weeks, after which we'll be coming up with exact figures on how much we will be making available to each individual or family in Nigeria, just as part of the poverty alleviation project.
Okay, better. Real quickly, your first task, part of many other tasks, will be to administer palliatives. What's your take as regards the madness going on with the sharing of the palliative? You can see the conundrum with people being hurt, being pushed around. Some can't even get anything. That's one. Number two, another important task coming up to you will be the $800 million loan that had been released before, that the president wanted to push out to the social register and he stopped. What's the conversation? Bring us up to speed as regards that money. And what would be your idea as regards pushing that money around?
So I think first, as it concerns the palliatives, we need to rework the logistics. In the past, I have been exposed to programs such as the immunization programs in Cross River State and in other places around the country, where we have to take healthcare to people's doorstep, immunize people at their doorstep. I think the aspect of having people come together or come to one particular location to pick up their palliatives is not really very helpful. In my own, of course, for us, we will think that it will be better off to deliver this, improve on the logistics, and deliver it to their doorstep where they live. That way, they can sign off on it, and you are sure that these families have received it. Of course, technology can tell exactly where a person is, where he's delivering, using the GPS and the rest of it to really identify if this has been delivered to this location.
How are you going to do this? How? Because technology is nebulous. How precisely are you going to ensure that they deliver at the doorsteps of people where we don't have accurate numbering system in homes in Nigeria and streets? You can get to the street and have number 21 and number 44 at the back, at the front. So how do we do it? How?
Okay, like I said, it's a GPS thing. It's not just about the numbering. So from the GPS, there are many applications that can be used to identify where a person is and if it has been delivered to a particular places. Of course, we have all the logistic companies that use all of these applications. We can deploy them. That's why we said private sector collaboration. We can deploy all of this. In the past, we used to have the ODK. So if I come to this house to give immunization, they can be able to know whether I have arrived at this location using the GPS and if I have delivered that immunization before I leave. So all of this will be deployed into the system where we can categorically say yes. It might not be 100%, but we can categorically say yes, at least 98% of the items meant for people have been delivered to their location. Then talking, of course, about the $800 million, I think the first point for us, like we have clearly said, the president has called for a clear review, after which we will give our recommendations to the president, and then he can take the final decisions, working with the Federal Executive Council to say, okay, yes, we are good to go, and these are the people who would be receiving these funds, for Nigerians to know. The main point is that it must be done in an accountable manner, and it must be given to the right people who are truly poor and need to be subsidized and taken out of poverty.
Thank you for saying that. Accountability, transparency, two tenets you have said you will work under. And we wish you all the best. 133 million Nigerians who